What happens when a nation of 120 million is locked away from the sea? When its trade routes depend on foreign goodwill and its future is shaped not by its own geography but by the politics of others? This nation, whose rivers quench the thirst of its coastal neighbors, whose power lights their homes, and whose soldiers help guard their peace, is denied its rightful place by the shore. How can such a country remain landlocked? What if the path to prosperity lies not in conquest, but in correction? Rewriting maps drawn in haste and restoring access long denied by history. In today's feature, we explore Ethiopia's bold maritime pivot, where diplomacy, ambition, and sovereignty converge. This is not just another story about trade or ports. This is a story about sovereignty and survival, a tale of a resilient nation reclaiming its destiny. Welcome to True Frame, a YouTube channel dedicated to providing you with clarity in a world full of noise and misinformation. Stay with us till the end for a deeper understanding of the quiet storm gathering in the Red Sea. Ethiopia, Africa's second most populous country, and the beating heart of the continent's unity as the African Union's headquarters, is often overlooked as a major player on the maritime stage because it lacks a coastline. But this absence is no reflection of its ambition or its role in shaping regional peace and prosperity. For decades, Ethiopia has been the landlocked giant whose economic pulse depended heavily on the goodwill of its neighbors, particularly Djibouti. Nearly 95% of Ethiopia's maritime trade passes through Djibouti's ports. This is a fragile dependency that constrains Ethiopia's growth, limits its negotiating power, and leaves its lifelines vulnerable to geopolitical shifts. This is not a comfort for a nation that aspires to lead East Africa into a new era of development. Historically, Ethiopia's identity was inseparable from the sea. Ports like Massawa and Assab were gateways to the world and symbols of Ethiopia's sovereign reach. The loss of these ports after Eritrea's independence in 1993 dealt a blow not only to Ethiopia's economy, but also to its national pride. The Ethiopian Navy, once a protector of its maritime interests, quietly faded into memory as the country turned inward. But history is not destiny. In late 2023, Ethiopia took a bold and pragmatic step by signing a Memorandum of Understanding with Somaliland, a region of Somalia that has maintained relative peace and stability, successfully managing its own affairs for over 3 decades. This deal is a calculated move to restore Ethiopia's access to the sea, offering port facilities in exchange for diplomatic recognition and signaling Ethiopia's determination to break free from the chains of landlocked dependency. The move triggered a wave of diplomatic tension. Somalia, claiming its sovereignty had been violated, issued strong rebukes. But the escalation didn't end there. In October 2024, Egypt and Eritrea joined Somalia in a tripartite agreement, an unusual coalition of coastal states opposing Ethiopia's inland ambitions. As most critics would agree, the reaction from Mogadishu was expected and somewhat justified. However, the deeper question remains: why would Egypt and Eritrea, two nations with direct Red Sea access and no shared borders with Somaliland, take such a stance? What strategic interest drives their alignment against Ethiopia's maritime reawakening? In December 2024, Ethiopia and Somalia met in Ankara under the mediation of Turkish President. Eventually, diplomacy prevailed. The result was the Ankara Declaration, a joint commitment to resolve disputes peacefully and pursue regional cooperation. This marked a turning point, restoring dialogue and reaffirming Ethiopia's intent, not to destabilize, but to reconnect. Still, the tripartite alliance raises broader questions. Is Ethiopia's pursuit of sea access merely a logistical adjustment, or does it challenge entrenched regional hierarchies? These are the undercurrents we'll explore in future episodes. Meanwhile, Ethiopia's stance remains firm and clear. Sea access is not a bargaining chip. It is a lifeline, essential to the survival and upliftment of its people. As Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed aptly declared, sea access is not a luxury, it is a necessity. More than rhetoric, Ethiopia has begun transforming this vision into reality. Naval training programs have expanded rapidly, cultivating a new generation of maritime experts. Diplomatic channels have warmed, reflecting Ethiopia's dedication to peaceful cooperation and regional integration. Discussions with Gulf states hint at broader economic partnerships, port development, and enhanced logistical networks that position Ethiopia as a future hub for East African trade. This is Africa's rising power refusing to be sidelined. The stakes are immense. The Red Sea connects continents and carries the world's commerce through some of its busiest shipping lanes, guarded by powerful neighbors and foreign military presences. Egypt's historic territorial ambitions, Saudi and Emirati port investments, China's strategic base in Djibouti, and Western powers' naval patrols. The region is a delicate fabric of competing interests. Ethiopia's re-entry into maritime affairs challenges existing power dynamics, but it is not born of aggression. It is rooted in justice. The quest to reclaim sea access is about asserting Ethiopia's sovereign right to trade, to defend its borders, and to grow its economy on equal footing with other nations. Critics claim Ethiopia's moves might spark instability or disrupt the fragile Horn of Africa region. Yet Ethiopia's actions speak differently. They reflect a commitment to peaceful negotiation and regional cooperation, not confrontation. Ethiopia seeks not to conquer but to connect, investing in alliances that could knit the Horn into a stronger, more stable region. This is a story of restoration, not expansion. Ethiopia is reaching back into its history, reminding the world that borders drawn decades ago should not dictate the destiny of a people. Through diplomacy, vision, and initiative, it is crafting a new chapter where geography, history, and justice converge. As tensions simmer and geopolitical players watch closely, the question remains, is Ethiopia destabilizing the region? Or is it reclaiming its role as a legitimate leader in East Africa? A future where its people can thrive with open doors to the sea? The answer is clear, spoken in the logic of justice and geography. Ethiopia's sea access is not a threat. It is a right, long overdue. Subscribe for more fact-based analysis on Africa's affairs, with a special attention to the geostrategic interests and challenges shaping the shared future of the countries in the Horn of Africa.